Hey guys, I hope you are well, or as well as you possibly can be. Happy holidays, happy almost New Year. I am so excited, always. I'm happy to be here. I also have a slight headache because I've been wearing a wig for the past 2 hours and my head is large. Jeff! It's crazy because texting you was like, I should go live and talk about Jupiter and Pisces. You can go though because we've already discussed everything I'm going to say. So basically I want to talk a little bit about Jupiter and Pisces, and to give like a little tidbit, also there's a new moon in Capricorn on the 2nd of January, which is iconic because new moon, new year. So I'm going to be hosting like a live little ceremony. I'm not going to work. Stay it, babe. I'm going to be hosting a live little like new moon ceremony, which I'll link to. Also, I'll have like a YouTube breakdown of what the actual ritual is in the meantime, but if you don't want to join live. But otherwise, I wanted to talk a little bit about Jupiter and Pisces because this transit is giving me the breath and the oxygen that I needed after surviving 2021. Thank you for joining. A lot of astrologers are super excited about this transit because Jupiter is a planet that we all love. She gives us nothing but joy. It's a he, but like whatever. And honestly, anytime we have Jupiter is a very slow moving planet, so it'll spend about a year in its sign. And this past year, we had Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius, which really ushered in this age of Aquarius, this like breath and this movement towards sort of breaking down a lot of old regimens. And hi, thank you for joining. And reconstructing something that actually aligns with where we have evolved societally. It was great. And now we're moving into Jupiter and Pisces, which is a much more dreamy, daydreamy energy. And it's going to give us a lot of luck and a lot of joy in whatever house it falls in for you. So what I plan to do was, if you know your rising sign, I can tell you what house it's going to be transiting for you and where you're going to get some new energy. Honestly, anytime Jupiter transits a house for us, it breathes life into that house. It gives some fluid movement into whatever theme that house rules. And above all else, it's just some luck. It just sprinkles in some luck. And with this like eclipse series in the Taurus Scorpio axis this upcoming year, we may want a little bit of that good energy, babe. So I'm excited about this. It started today, but I also want to say two things. The last time we had Jupiter in Pisces, we had a preview of it when it went retrograde earlier this year. I said retrograde. Retrograde. Earlier this year, what are the dates? It went into retrograde in the sign of Pisces, May 13th, 2021 until July 28th, 2021. Awesome. Yes, I would love to do it one-on-one. Let me know, honey. And so what's beautiful about it is that we kind of got a preview of what the energy was going to be looking like for us and the things that we would be able to reap under this transit. So reflect on what was going on in that time period in your life. What were the themes? What were the emotions? But also, the last time we had like a year-long transit with Jupiter and Pisces was in 2011, which I went back on my Facebook and I was like, what was 2011 for me? And honestly, it was a time of really being able to explore myself outside of conditioning, outside of bounds. And I feel like we're all collectively going to feel that, right? Jupiter and Pisces. Jupiter is so happy in the sign of Pisces because Pisces is a sign that just has no shape and no form. It allows itself to move fluidly, to move intuitively, and to explore the metaphysical, to explore emotions, to not be so tied to logic and to survival, but rather to flourish in the exploration of self. So like overall, I think we're all gonna be feeling that. But in particular, in regards to your chart, if you are a Pisces rising, first off the bat, it's going to be in your first house. So there may be a lot of luck surrounding, above all else, there'll be a breath of fresh air when it comes to how you embody yourself, the way that you dress. You may change up your hair. You may just change your aesthetic a bit. But I think what's most important is that you'll probably have some new opportunities to do things that align with your identity more authentically. And if you have an Aquarius rising, it'll breathe some air. Me not being able to talk, it's because I've been wearing this wig all day, guys, and my brain is a little bit. It'll be in your second house, so that'll breathe some fresh air when it comes to your finances. Perhaps you'll get a dope work opportunity. But also, the second house, of course, rules money and it rules material things, but it also rules how we value ourselves. So you may have some epiphanies or some aha moments when it comes to how you're living a life in alignment with your sense of self-worth. Which is iconic. And the Venus retrograde is also bringing that as well. So blame it on the wig. Stop. I looked good in it. Do you see the mark? Okay. If you are a Capricorn rising, it'll be in your 3rd house, which is the house that rules the mind, it rules the words, it rules how we communicate. So there may be some beautiful ideas when it comes to the written word. If you feel like, damn, let me put out a poetry book or something like that, especially if you've never explored your written ability. Pisces rules service. It's the sign that rules serving the collective, right? I think it differs in Aquarius in that like Pisces is more individual with it. Aquarius is like, I don't care about people, but I care about like an audience, whereas Pisces is like, I care about the people. So if there are any larger causes that you really want to pour some intention into it, looking at the way you can do so creatively, if it's passing your 3rd house, would be beneficial to you. If you're Sagittarius rising like me, it'll be in your 4th house, which for me personally, this is manifesting in me realizing that I need to move. So, thank you for joining, Silly Bean. So if you have a Sagittarius rising and you are thinking about relocating or finding a new definition of home, also it can bring some luck when it comes to how you yourself embody home. If you have perhaps a toxic inner dialogue, or if you aren't gifting yourself whatever mental and spiritual nourishment needs, now would be the time to kind of reflect on that and to have some luck when it comes to just like your mental health. But ultimately, just if you're thinking about moving, now would be the time to explore that. If you're a Scorpio rising, Scorpio risings, y'all drive me crazy. 5th house, inner child. This would, oh my God, if you're a Scorpio rising, this is going to be the best fucking year for you, because you get to just explore what it means to live a life of play, to come back to being creative, to come back to being explorative, and ultimately to come back to like, what does life look like when I deem play as productive and I honor it just as deeply as I would any other sort of obligation? So let this year be the year where you filter every decision through, does my inner child want to do this? What does my inner child want to do? When my inner child sits back and thinks, I want to live my dream life, what does it look like? And then live that life. That is my dog barking. If you're a Libra rising, you're probably really pretty. And also, this will be transiting your 6th house. So there could be a lot of luck. You know what's crazy? And this is tea. You may gain weight. And we don't hate that, but like, here's tea. The thing about it is that Jupiter rules... Yes, Jupiter rules indulgence. So anytime we have a Jupiter transit, for me, instance, I am Jupiter ruled. I'm a Sagittarius rising. So like, I like to eat. There's a lot about me that is large. I wouldn't necessarily, like, just... The point being that Jupiter likes to expand things. So anytime we have it in a house that rules like health and routine, you may be in a point of indulgence, and I would invite you to just play around with that and see what allowing yourself to break your own rules a little bit and break out of like the habits that have kept life rigid for you, what that looks like. So if you're planning on getting thicker, thick girl 2022, being a Libra rising would be really iconic right now. If you are a Virgo rising, then Jupiter will be transiting your 7th house. 7th house is the house of relationships. So ultimately, I mean, of course, that's pretty obvious. If you are looking for a relationship, then now would be a beautiful time to start dating. And above all else, to be more open with what it is that you want. Me not being able to form a sentence. Be more open with what your type is, or rather to lose your type. Because the thing about Pisces is that Pisces does not discriminate. Pisces is into everything. Pisces is into all forms of expression, all forms of art. And so if you do have a Virgo rising, hey, ew, so is my mom, my best friend. I would really invite you to be a little bit more open or fluid when it comes to who you particularly usually date. And that isn't to say to forfeit any standards, but rather to let yourself explore different kinds of people, different kinds of partners. And there may be a lot of luck when it comes to finding love. And if you are already in a relationship, or if you are sharpening your relationship with yourself, lean more towards grace and compassion. And Pisces is all about forgiveness. So forgiveness, if that resonates with you. If you are a Leo rising, this will be in your 8th house. So what's beautiful about this is that the 8th house is it's sort of, the energy of the 8th house is kind of opposite of Jupiter, right? It's the darker house that rules our subconscious. It rules like death, sex, and taboo, those things that we don't normally look at. And so when you have Jupiter transiting a house like this, it kind of brings and breathes some lifeness into these like harder themes. So if you're experiencing any form of loss, if you are experiencing it's a house that rules death and rebirth. So if you're going through any like major changes, Jupiter is going to bring some support. It's going to show you the ways in which death is actually a beautiful opportunity to create something new. And if you are a Cancer rising, like my baby Jeffy, yes, it's in your 9th house. So this is just an opportunity not only for travel, for seeing the world, and for, above all else, exploring what is outside of your normal routine and your normal environment, but most importantly, it's exploring different themes, allowing your mind to travel a bit and allowing yourself to explore different ways that one can experience God, one can experience divinity. And if there are any things that you randomly decide that you want to study, if you're like, wait, not me being super interested in ancient Egyptian culture, let yourself dive into that without limitations. Let yourself explore different themes and see what you get out of it. If you are a Gemini rising, this is going to be in your 10th house. Career. There's going to be so much luck when it comes to your career. Good for you. Oh, that is iconic. So yeah, let yourself be open and say more yeses to career opportunities, because one yes is going to bring another yes. It's going to bring you in another room, and it's going to open another door. So let Jupiter open those doors for you, but let yourself be the energy that walks through them, if that makes sense. I hope that made sense. And if I haven't said your sign, or if you're joining now and I'm not saying your sign, just go back when I post this and you can see what your rising sign is going to bring for you for this Jupiter in Pisces transit. Wow, me trying to speak. If you are a Taurus rising, last two, this will be in your 11th house. So like I said, Jupiter is a beautiful planet that brings expansion, but it can also bring us overindulgence. So I would be really cautious when it comes to your internet and social media usage. Make sure that you have healthy boundaries when it comes to how much you are online and how much you are sharing online. But also there can be a lot of luck when it comes to your online endeavors. So if you've decided that you want to share your form of art online, or host a workshop, or be more vulnerable online, post more of your truth online, now would be the time to do that. And also friendship. So if you are in a place where you are looking to cultivate more community, your girl gang or your soul family may come through during this time period. And lastly, Aries risings. This will be in your 12th house. I think the most beautiful part of this is that the 12th house is the Pisces house. And so ultimately, your clairvoyancies and your intuition are going to be super, super sharp and super, super heightened. So if you know that you have intuitive ability and you're kind of reluctant on exploring it or being just explorative, when it comes to how can I use this intuitive ability, my clairvoyance, my clairsentience, as a tool for myself, this is going to be the year where you really step into that power, into that magnetism as well. So those are the specific signs. If you missed yours, definitely go back and watch them. But overall, Jupiter in Pisces is going to make this year, it's going to put a nice little filter around this year. And if you haven't romanticized your life on a daily basis already, this is the perfect invitation to do so. So be a little bit more fly with what you wear, and put on new forms of jewelry. Just be the main character this year, because Jupiter in Pisces is all about romanticizing life, romanticizing the hard parts of it, basking in the beautiful parts of it, and being in this childlike essence where you are curious, where you are explorative, where you're open, where you break your own rules, where you allow yourself to explore different kinds of lovers and different places, and where you'll allow yourself to say yes to good luck. So those are the houses that you'll experience some good luck in. But overall, it's going to be a good vibe, and it's going to be a nice, you hear this song? It's going to be a nice cushion around the more difficult or heavier parts of 2022. But it's all happening for us always. So that was the tea. I'm going to put my wig back on, because this is Jupiter in Pisces. She wants to play, babe. She wants to dress up. So I'm going to do that. But I adore you guys. I hope you have an incredible 2022. If you want to join me for the new moon, new year ceremony, I'll be posting that on my page. I'll also post on Instagram or on YouTube the actual ritual if you want to do it by yourself. But otherwise, it'll be an incredible transit for you. For me too, honestly, for all of us. Yes, the wig, babe. I adore you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.